Hi everyone, Morten Aastad here. Welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you two records by Saint Etienne that I just bought a few days ago. Now, Saint Etienne, as some of you who follow my channel know, is a band I'm very fond of and have been for, it must be 30-ish years, maybe this year, I think. Maybe 1996 is when I bought my first album by Saint Etienne. Now, my collection is a little sort of, it has been also, and still is, a little broken up. There are sections of their studio album career that I am unfamiliar with because I simply haven't gotten around to adding to those in the 30 years I've been following this band. So over the last year or two, I have been supplementing my CD collection with vinyls. And also getting some vinyls that I've never heard on CD before. And so, their debut, this band of course started in 1990, and there's elements of musically direction like techno, and there's lounge, and there's maybe a little dub, and there's a little so you can be transported from a Kraftwerk type world one moment into a moment of more loungy French Nouvelle Vague type moods, and I mean, the French influences do shine through more than just the name of the band, which is, most people would probably think is a football club, which it also is, but it's also a city in France. So with the Foxbase Alpha, of course, and So Tough, these two wonderful albums. Then, I do not know what they did for their third album, which is something I hope to discover now, because I now got their third album. I went to our local second-hand record shop here because they had announced that they had gotten a bunch of records in. Some of them were these, but that's not what I went there for. I went there to pick up the B-sides from the Super Furry Animals. And I got in line at 10 o'clock in the morning, and there were a couple of people there before me, but they went straight for something else, so I was so happy. And then when I found out that the records that they had put up in the evening the day before, they had actually already started to sell, so that had sold the day before. So distraught over not having the opportunity to spend $80 on a single record and instead saving my money, what will Morten do? Well, he ends up leaving the store with 4 records. 2 of them I made a separate video about. And one of the records that I got was this wonderful looking thing. It's this Tiger Bay by Saint Etienne. So their third album, they actually wanted to get away from what had inspired their first 2 albums, and they actually traveled to the Forest of Dean in order to record. And you might sort of recognize that they were looking for some roots in their further back in their English consciousness, maybe here. And so it's described as techno and dub and other modern influences as the musical backdrop for what can be described as folk songs. And if that's not intriguing, I don't know. And I haven't listened to this yet. All I've done is get a brand new plastic sleeve on it so far. They were talking about something about... I'm going to do a little cheating and check out something. Yeah, they were talking about one track where the music is where they blend Kraftwerk style techno with the melody from a 19th century folk song in Silver Dagger, and some songs such as Marble Lines and Former Lover forsake electronics for classical folk instrumentation and orchestral arrangements. And one, Western Wind, is a traditional English folk song. So very, very interested to hear what Saint Etienne did on this record. They have placed themselves into this album, this painting, which I now forgot the title of, but so there you go, and on the back there. So if you're looking for this record, be it on CD or I don't know if it was released on vinyl in the US, it will not look like this. Apparently it will look like this. So there was a different sleeve there. And there's the vinyl, which is the first time I look at. There we go. Then they would release a couple of more albums, which were sort of described as more uniform and maybe a little more accessible. And those are albums that I have and are very familiar with. This one I got last year, I think, but I've had a CD. This was my first Saint Etienne record, Good Humor. This is what grabbed me and made me a fan of Saint Etienne. I just want to show it again. Bob Stanley, Pete Wiggs, and of course Sarah Cracknell. Sarah has released some solo work that I would be interested in, and yeah, this is a stunning one. Anyway, and then they followed that up with a record I don't have on vinyl yet, Sound of Water. But then they went a little more experimental, and once again you get these songs with vocal spoken word between the songs, which they've done here and there, and I'm not necessarily a very big fan of. I think it's a little it takes me a little bit out of it sometimes, and I don't really like it that much when other bands do it either, unless we're talking about Monty Python. So because last year they released what unfortunately seems to they have said is their final album. So just like Megadeth, they're not going to make any more albums. I just said that now because I want to be the first person in history who mentions Megadeth and Saint Etienne in the same video. But anyway, guys, so yeah, they released their 6th album, Finistère, and I love this artwork. And one of the reasons I haven't gotten this earlier was because I didn't know that this was a studio album, because they have a few compilation remix albums banging around. I have one on CD, a deluxe CD, which is like a very early comp and remix album. I think it's called Continental. Beautiful artwork and everything. But yeah, I remember I bought that one instead of another one, and then I sort of felt a little cheated because the other one that I didn't get a deluxe CD of, that was a studio album. But yeah, so this one is probably just like their penultimate album, which I didn't really like that much, and then they finished it off with what is, alongside Good Humor, probably my Fox Base Alpha. But anyway, with an amazing album. But so yeah, I'm a little bit apprehensive about this. I'm very curious as to what it sounds like. You know, sometimes you do these things where you read about an album when you shouldn't, maybe. And but yeah, very excited to have this. Like I said, very, very fond of Saint Etienne. What does it say here? It says, have there been any attempts through planning to either discourage or promote certain patterns of behavior in your neighborhood? Which/how? And the vinyl here is the Norwegian word we use, like til. Straightforward.
I have news, good news from Notting Hill. The consignment of white gold has arrived for Mr. Anderson.
So yeah, that was a quick look at the two Saint Etienne records I have added to my collection. I believe I think there's like two studio albums I don't have at all. Or are those remix albums? No, I don't. Yeah, I'll probably post down there what I do have and don't have, or whatever. You guys, as always, thank you so much for watching my video. And if you would like, please like to click the like button for me. That helps my channel and makes me happy. And new subscribers makes me happy. My latest subscribers, welcome. And as always, I like comments as well. So take care, and I hope to see you guys soon in another video. Bye bye.